Hi, we're at the Advanced Clutch Technology booth at the SEMA Show 2024. I'm Dirk the owner and president. I'm here to answer some questions about clutches. In most cases, a single disc is going to be just fine if that's what came in the car. If you're increasing the power by a lot and you still want to maintain a good pedal feel, a twin disc will have better heat capacity, better torque capacity in general. Of course, there is a price penalty when you go to a twin disc. That is part of the discussion I guess you'll have to have with your spouse or your banker. But with a twin disc, since you're doubling the amount of surfaces, the number of surfaces, if everything else is the same, you will double the torque capacity of the clutch. With a clutch, everything is rated by torque capacity, not horsepower. So, when you're increasing the torque by a lot, obviously you need a clutch that can handle it. Really, it depends on the application. There's some applications where they come stock with a twin disc. I mean, one example would be like a Jeep Wrangler, believe it or not, came with a twin disc. Terrible design. We actually replaced it with a single disc, believe it or not. But then there are other applications where it comes with a single, and people will hop up the cars to get a lot of power, and the single disc really can't handle it, and then a twin is naturally what you want to go for. Okay. So let's talk friction materials. For everyday drivability and long life, smooth engagement, you want your basic organic friction material. The limitation of this is it can only handle so much heat before the resins that hold it together will melt. If you're really abusive on a clutch, you have an application where you're slipping it a lot, say drag racing or something like that when you're launching the car, the limitation here is really heat capacity. And then as it gets hot, the friction goes down. So if you're racing, you don't want that because obviously you want to be able to finish the race. So we have our cerametallics over here, or puck disc. It has like a ceramic metallic mix. That can handle a tremendous amount of heat. It also increases the coefficient of friction, which increases torque capacity. So now you have an increase in torque capacity, heat capacity, but the trade-off there is engagement is going to be more harsh. But the torque capacity, of course, goes up quite a bit, probably about 30%. A lot of guys still use it on their street cars, even though we typically don't recommend that. Then we have a sintered iron material. That has a very high coefficient of friction, and that's usually used on drag racing. We usually have more material. That increases the weight, although we do go with like 7 1/4, so it's smaller. So you don't want to have too much inertia if it's on a synchro transmission. Typically, the sintered iron we use only on clutchless transmissions, or like a dog box or something like that. There are other materials out there that we've tested, like Kevlar and various different brands of cerametallic, and we've settled on just the organic cerametallic on most applications except for racing. The problem that we've found with Kevlar is that the coefficient of friction is really inconsistent. When you lap it in and it's worn in, it takes a lot of clamp load in order to hold power. The coefficient of friction goes way down. So it's really not consistent. The other odd thing about Kevlar, as we know, it's a great insulator. They use it for Kevlar gloves and other things. Well, on a clutch, that's not necessarily what you want because the heat has to go somewhere. So if it's not going into the disc, it's going into the other part. So now all the heat that's generated, because the clutch will generate heat when it slips, it all goes into the mating surfaces. So now the pressure plate sees a lot more heat, and so does the flywheel. I remember having a customer that came to us, and his flywheel had all these little cracks on it, but it wasn't like blue all the way through or anything like that. And immediately I said, you have a Kevlar clutch, right? Sure enough, that's what he had, because it wasn't that the flywheel couldn't act as a heat sink. It's that first initial blast of heat when it slips, because it had nowhere else to go but right into the flywheel. Now, when a clutch is worn out, you can usually tell by how it feels. Sometimes you could hear it. You shift to the next gear and you see the engine RPMs drop slowly instead of it lurching the car forward. That's a telltale sign. Okay, that clutch is barely enough. The other thing is by the way the clutch feels. On a normal diaphragm clutch, the diaphragm, because of that design, it kind of goes over center, so it'll be a little lighter at the floor typically than at the top. If the clutch is really heavy at the floor and really light at the top, that tells you that the diaphragm spring is kind of out of its working range. The disc is worn down too thin, and now you're going to see where the clutch is going to start slipping, and it's done. It's time for a replacement. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about clutches. You can find us on the internet at advancedclutch.com. We're also, of course, on Facebook and Instagram, so follow us.